Good afternoon and welcome to another episode 23 of the Leadership Livestream brought to you by Women's Council of Realtors of Tampa. My name is Nick Sakis, co-host of Amplified Marketing Group. We got an awesome show for you guys today. As usual, I like to get you guys kind of in the know what's going on at all times. We're streaming this live on Facebook. And so what will happen, I moderate the comments. So if you have any questions at all for Catherine or our guest, Amy, make sure you put them in the comments. I'll show them on screen if you stick around. And if not, that's cool too, because we do show the replay immediately afterwards as well. So welcome. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce your 2020 WCR Tampa president, Mrs. Catherine Sakis. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, as always, for having Amplified Marketing as a diamond strategic partner for the Tampa Women's Council Network. We appreciate everything you do and having us as our tech guy and our marketing guy. So we appreciate you. We appreciate all our viewers, everyone who's here to join us today, and those that will watch on the replay. We appreciate all of you. We always like to start the show with our mission statement for Women's Council. And the mission statement is, we are a network of successful realtors advancing women as business leaders in the industry and communities we serve. Now, as we always say, you don't have to take on the world to be a leader. You're all leaders in your own lives, in your homes, in your businesses, in your communities. And the skills of leadership can and will enhance your life. So when we started Leadership Livestream, we were devoted to the principles of leadership and sharing with each other so we could learn. And our show has been devoted to leadership themes. And what better way to celebrate leadership than with our own special guest today, our incoming 2021 Women's Council of Realtors Florida President, Amy Snook. I have a short bio on Amy. Those you know her as our president-elect. However, Amy has been in the real estate business for 17 years. She's also a licensed title agent and, as I said, president-elect of this year's 2020 Florida State Network. She also currently serves on the Realtors Association of Palm Beach and Greater Fort Lauderdale, as well as being a director for Florida Realtors. She also believes in giving back to her community and shows that by giving a portion of her income from her real estate business to local animal shelters. So without any further ado, I want to welcome our 2020 president-elect and our incoming 2021 president of Women's Council of Realtors Florida, Amy Snook.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Nick.
Well, thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about today, and we're going to talk about leadership during COVID and then about next year. So just as way of background, leading up to this year's president-elect, what inspired you to leadership?
Well, let me start by saying thank you for having me today. This is so exciting, and I absolutely love this. Talking about leadership is one of my passions, but helping people achieve their leadership goals is even a greater passion. So when you ask me what led up to this, I have been in leadership, my gosh, since I got out of college, and I won't share how many years ago that one was. But, I fell into it somewhat naturally, but started leading maybe a bit unnaturally, right? It just doesn't, you're not born being a leader, right? It takes skills and you have to learn. But I quickly realized that when I helped people accomplish their goals, whether it be in sales and then continuing to move up in leadership, that just gets me excited. That is what gets me up in the morning and want to continue with my volunteer organizations such as Women's Council. And for all of us as realtors, we have a decision to make. We can spend 24/7 on our real estate business,
Mhm.
but I think there comes a time where it's important to give back, for me, local animal shelters, but in addition to that, to other realtors and to our industry, and help others become who they're meant to be.
I agree. I think the opportunity to give back is one of the biggest rewards of success,
Agree. Agree.
you know? And you see that theme throughout women's council, same leadership theme where it's so important to mentor and bring others behind you and do everything you can to make other people successful. Um, so that being said, um, how did you prepare for this? What other leadership positions did you have prior to becoming president elect?
So, I started out in sales, selling long distance service door to door. I still look back and say, I cannot believe I did that job. Let me also caveat it because I'm assuming you can hear my dogs. In addition to giving to animal rescue, I end up bringing some of them home. So there's several of them out there barking, and I apologize.
They want to be on the podcast too.
They
It's
do.
fine.
And my 11-year-old is supposed to be watching them. We'll have that talk after the show. But so I started out, and within a short period of time, was promoted to a leadership role. Uh, did not come natural. Did not come natural. Made a lot of mistakes, And as a new leader, you try to lead by mimicking other leaders, right? So it becomes an unnatural when you're not leading with your true heart, or is what I call, and we'll talk about that, authentic leadership. But because I was put into leadership, you sink or swim, and thankfully I started swimming, but a lot of classes, a lot of trial and error, a lot of lessons learned as I went, and I moved up in corporate America. And as years went by, I ended up opening a title company with a business partner, and talk about leadership. And that's where I learned the difference between leadership and management, right? And there is a very big difference, right? We manage things, we lead people. But when you own your own business, you kind of have to do both at times, and that can be a challenge. And it depends who you're leading at times as well, with what hat you're wearing. So, a lot of leadership positions. I started out, I was president of our Greater Palm Beach County network in 2014. And it took me several years to get a yes. They did not think I would make a good president. Well, I fooled them, and we had a great year. But that's my thing. You never know until you really get to know someone, what's in their heart, what their abilities are, and so forth. So preparing for this year, it's a lot of trial and errors. Leadership is not easy. It is not comfortable. You have to make tough decisions. You sometimes make decisions that um, accidentally hurt people, right? Hurt feelings, probably better said. But um, you have to go through it, and you have to evaluate and learn from every mistake and learn from every success, so you can keep growing as a leader, right? I mean, sometimes our greatest lessons come from failures, right?
Hmm.
Right. And we are the author of our own story, meaning how we interpret that failure and how we move forward with it, in my opinion, is makes what makes us continue to grow as a leader. So my preparation for 2021 state president has been many years trial and error, experience, and success. There's no greater feeling. And I have it, I'm here in my office. And can I interrupt myself for a second, Catherine, to share
Sure.
something? Because I'm waiting for a comment about the wait, wrong way. The cartoon alligator there above my head.
Okay.
So this is my chalkboard wall. This is where I write all my to-dos, because while I've spent many years in leadership, can't seem to get past the moving a million miles an hour and 20 million thoughts going through my head. So if I don't write it down, it's in and it's out within 2 seconds. But my sister, whom I love dearly, was over here, and she said, "You work too hard, you work too much. I'm putting something on your chalkboard to make you smile." It's been there for 6 months, and I will not take it down, but that's why it's there. Sometimes we need a reminder: slow down, don't take everything so serious, and be
Right.
happy, right?
Yeah.
So, my preparation for this year, is it okay to keep going here? My
Well, if
preparation,
you would just touch base, though,
yep,
for those of thinking of aspiring through the state,
yep,
you mentioned that you were network president 214. Did you go up to be DVD governor, all that? What was your path to the state level?
Yeah. So I tried to take a year off because 2014 was it's again, being a leader is not easy, but it was
Mhm.
a fabulous year in 2014. But I decided after that, I'm going to take 1 year off before I continue on my path because I wanted to continue on. Well, now our 2021 national president, Pamela Banks, asked me to be her events chair for her state. She was about to be state president. So, because I hadn't learned how to say the word no yet, I ended up in 2015 being Pamela Banks' events chair for her leadership year. And then the following year, DVP governor, and then blessed to be on the state line for Women's Council Florida.
So you went right from governor to PE.
I went right from governor to I was secretary,
Oh, secretary. Okay.
skipped over treasurer, um, which everyone tells me was probably not a great thing. But my little answer and secret with that is it was probably a great thing. Went right to treasurer's a tough job, president elect, and here I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into the weeds, but you know, um, that is a lot of conversation between network presidents. Like, do you go forward? What path do you take? What steps does it take? So it's always interesting to find out for those that have made it to the top, the steps that they took. So you mentioned a lot of corporate training, but clearly WCR, shouldn't say WCR, Women's Council was pivotal to your leadership path and training. Would you agree?
1,000%. It's a different skill set. It is different leading people, corporate America, who you can fire, than
Right,
leading volunteers. And I will tell you, leading volunteers hones your skills like nothing else because they don't have to do
right.
what you ask or say. And if you don't inspire, and if you don't get to know them, and if they don't trust you, and you don't all have a common goal, you are not achieving your goals. So
I agree,
I
but don't you think, particularly in our business, those same skills transfer so easily over to clients because
absolutely
they don't have to deal with us either. We have
no.
to convince them of the value. We have to gently try to, you know, push the path forward. So the leadership skills, I've always contended, are not just about leadership. They really enhance your business and your life.
Absolutely, and that's one of our big focuses this year. And Catherine, you saw it in our leadership summit, where we are not just talking about leadership; we are rolling up our sleeves and doing the uncomfortable training for leadership, but not just leadership, running a business. So when we say leadership, it's not just inspiring and motivating others and helping them achieve their goals. There's the operational side of running a business. So we're very focused this year on teaching that skill set. And some of it is, the QuickBooks, the Excel, I mean, some of the software, but that all makes us more well rounded. And to be able to
Right.
help other people achieve our goals, we need to know how to run the business part as well.
I agree 100%. There's too many realtors that don't know they have a business. They just think they have a well-paid job, but they
That's
have a
exactly.
business.
Yeah.
So here we are, 2020. It's your year to be PE. I'm sure you've got all kinds of great ideas. And here comes COVID,
Mhm.
right smack in the first quarter. Do you remember how you felt when that first hit? You remember the feelings, what you were thinking, like, oh my gosh, there my plans go out the window. You want to share with us?
Yeah, sure. So I think like everyone else, it was just confusion and fear, right? We just for all of us, we just cocooned in our house and kept our families safe and thought for all of us, well, life as we know it, how are we going to continue real estate? How are we going to continue women's council or for any business? And it's been such incredible life lessons that life can move forward even
Mhm.
when we're not face to face. And while we miss seeing each other, this call here being a great example. The I think our relationships are deeper now than they were before. We're talking more often. We're learning each other in authentic situations. I mean, here I am with my dogs barking and the crocodile or alligator cartoon behind my head, I think there'd be several people shocked that I have that on my wall, as serious as I can be. So, when Christine Citrano, our 2020 state president, and I spoke, we went, holy cow, as I'm sure everyone did. What do we do? And, the decision was made. We still need to deliver our leadership training. We still need to interact and be there for our members. And I think Christine has been an incredible role model to everyone. But for those who interact with her in Women's Council, it was head down, keep moving forward. How do we continue doing what we set out to do? And it's been I mean, sad year in many aspects for with COVID, but a wonderful year of life lessons on priorities and how to take things to the next level. And I do not envision our interactive calls such as this stopping. They will further augment what we've already set out to do. We're talking, Catherine and Nick, about our convention. And in past years, we have done education January and August. And the
Mhm.
conversation has been, why are we limiting it to January and August? That's where we get to maybe be face to face, God willing. But why wouldn't we do interactive calls such as this in between to
Right.
take the training to the next level? So we pivoted in 2020 as it relates to delivering content and messages to our networks at Women's Council. But I think the byproduct has been we've helped people grow within Women's Council, but their own businesses and as people. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished in 2020.
I agree. And it's been sort of like unique icing on the cake that was so unexpected.
Yeah.
We all were initially focused on, oh, we can't be together and there's no one on one. But like I said, as state pivoted and say, just for example, Christine brought in the monthly president's calls.
Yep.
Well, that means I've had one on one for an hour at least once a month with all these people that I would have only seen twice a year. But we're
Exactly.
seeing each other like this. So by the time you come to the summit, you really feel like you know these people.
Right.
And the one on one is not an introduction or a get to know you, it's an enhancement on a relationship that's already started,
Absolutely.
which we never had before. And like I said, the opportunities are endless. So okay, so now it's time to formulate a plan, and you want to share what you did and all that to finish out 2020.
Absolutely. Well, again, don't know that I would have taken this path if it wasn't for COVID. So, another positive that came out of it. But really didn't think that we would be together in person in October for our very important leadership summit, where we train, as you know, Catherine, but for our
Mhm.
listeners, where we train on skills that are, yes, able to be used for your women's council, but also for business, for life, right? So I didn't think it was going to happen. So I said to President Christine in June, can we start a president elect boot camp? And didn't know what it was going to look like, but thought, okay, let's help people build their business plans, start focusing on their budget, start focusing on how they're going to deliver value to their members to help members grow individually and professionally. So we started this boot camp. Well, I'm speaking. I think I'm a bit biased, but I think it has been incredible because what I've realized is so many, and you said it before, Catherine, so many realtors are successful with real estate, but not necessarily in running their business and growing their business to the next level. So, what we quickly realized is so many of our realtors didn't know where to start in building a business plan, didn't know where to start with creating a real budget, not just throwing numbers on paper. I mean, creating a budget with lessons learned from the past and goals for the future. So
Mhm.
it has been incredible. And we started having people raising their hand to say, can my president elect for the following year join? So then we doubled who was coming. And to your point, by the time we got to the summit, everyone knew everyone. Everyone had a foundation. We weren't training on basics anymore. Now we were
Yeah.
able to take it to the next level. We then started a district vice president boot camp because they're coming in and they're leading leaders now, not just members. And that's a whole different beast. And whether they like it or not, and I can assure you they don't, we've been role playing, right? We've been role playing. So it has given us opportunity that I guarantee you we would not have been able to do. And then we met in October, and what we accomplished technologically was incredible. And I'm saying that because I'm not the one who solved the problem. We had a team, and Rebecca Carmona and a local company here in Delray. We had part Zoom, part in person, and the people on Zoom felt like they were in the room with a wide angle camera and the toggle that we can control their view. It was, I was very proud of what the team accomplished and was able to deliver to our members.
I agree. It was an outstanding event. And it's what people don't realize, now that people are used to Zoom, there's Zoom and there's live. So most people probably just think, well, you just have a camera on during a meeting. Uh-uh. Because
Mm-mm.
you cannot hear other than the presenter. You can't hear from the audience. There's no interaction. So you need all this extra AV going on, um, that is behind the scenes. But back to your point about boot camp, um, I was very blessed coming in in 2019 as a PE because I had been president of a number of organizations, nonprofit, and my background, my degree was in finance. So I was able to
Right.
trudge along until I got to Chicago Leadership 360, the last live one. And then that's where you learn everything and anything about Women's Council. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is even better than what I thought. But at that point, so many people were walking around like deer in the headlights, like, I have to take over next year. And now, just now, I have to learn how to do all this.
Right.
And then you came home and you had your state. So if I had any criticism at the time at all, I was like, we need to start this like 6 months before. So
Right.
I was so pleased when you came out with that boot camp. And being that it was Zoom, I think, what was it, 1 or 2 hours a session?
Yep. Absolutely.
So if you missed one, if you had to for business or personal, you could get caught up on the next one. Um, so it was very user friendly. And like you said, then that takes you now to participate at the national level Leadership 360 and the state summit, and your well versed background of
Absolutely.
what's expected. And that just becomes an icing on the cake sort of training. So I know it's a lot of work, and I appreciate how much work it is, but I hope it becomes a staple in our toolbox for state.
Well, I will tell you, our incoming, so 2021 president elect, Paige Brewer, has already decided she's going to continue the PE president elect boot camp, and it is already on the calendar. And our state liaison, Andrew Bell, and our first vice president, Charmaine Hickey, are going to continue the DV district vice president boot camp. And we have another call just tomorrow on that one. So, so excited about these opportunities that were born out of this pandemic.
And again, like you say, if you have like this year's president elect and then the person behind him, or even open it to secretaries and treasurers, sort of like try it, see if you like it. Some people are afraid to say yes to president elect and president. They're not quite sure they can do it, not quite sure they want to do it, don't know what's involved. So, with the whole Zoom situation, you can involve a lot more people and have them make even better educated decisions.
Absolutely. Can I share, which I haven't shared yet, a new program that we're rolling out that I believe will aid in that process?
Sure.
So don't ask me what the acronym stands for because for the life of me, I can't remember right this second, but we're starting the LEAP program, LEAP. I promise I will know what the acronym stands for and roll it out. We just came up with the acronym. But what we're going to be doing, kind of like our own mini leadership academy, we're going to be putting applications out in November to members. Ineligible are local network president and presidents elect because you're already getting the training. So we want our members who think they may have aspirations to move up, but to your point, Catherine, are scared to take that on, not sure if they're ready, not sure what it involves. So we're going to pick 10 people across the state, and they are going to have the opportunity to work with the state line, including the DVPs, district vice presidents, and we are going to have them create agendas, lead meetings, do pledges, do inspirations, but take it one step further. We're going to give them real feedback because that's the thing I think we miss in any leadership position. We give opportunities, but we're not always comfortable to give the feedback. How do we learn and grow if no one tells us what we could do better and where we scored an A plus? So
Right.
these 10 people are going to work hard. They're going to learn a lot. So look for that coming out in November.
And then how will they be selected?
So we're going to have applications. They're going to fill out the applications. And I think the big part of it is why. Why do they want to do this LEAP program in 2021? And then the state line is going to read all the applications and make a selection. But we're not looking for people who have necessarily served in a million leadership positions, although those people I want them to apply as well. I want exactly, Catherine, what you said before, the people who think they might be interested but are too scared to take the leap.
Mhm.
Oh, that was good. Leap. I hadn't made, okay, anyway, to make the leap. Um, so this is our opportunity to put their toe in, but with real feedback to help them grow. So I'm
That
excited
sounds like a
about that.
great program,
Yeah, I'm
you know?
excited.
And between that and the boot camp, I think it's also helpful to the presidents because part of the president's job is to train and bring up other leaders.
Right.
But it's very difficult, speaking for myself and other presidents, I know that you have so much to do on top of your regular job that it's
Hmm.
hard to set time aside for real leadership training and development. You know,
Absolutely.
like I can't imagine a scenario like when I was PE, I assisted the treasurer with the budget and the same this year. But I can't imagine a scenario where I'm actually sitting down and teaching someone QuickBooks. There's no
Right.
time,
Right.
you know? So that has to come from someplace else. So, okay, so now we've kind of got through 2020. We've now had the summit. We're coming on 2021. I want you to talk about 2021 and share with everyone on here other those of us that were in Delray Beach got to see the vision on authentic leadership. And so, not to steal your thunder, you want to explain your theme for next year and where you're going with that.
Absolutely. So this theme was born out of a couple different, aspects. I mean, many of us have served, I'm not referring to Women's Council, but in many organizations where someone is leading and they're just not, you're not connecting with them, right? And it's hard to follow and be inspired by someone whom you don't respect, trust, or share a vision. And that can kill an organization. And one of the challenges that we've seen many years in Women's Council, but we're putting a stop to it, is when people stepped up to president and president elect, one of the benefits is to have the years of experience in the organization to understand the organization, which is again why we're really rolling up our sleeves and doing this training. So sorry, the dogs are barking again. Um,
They're just
so
agreeing with you.
oh yeah, yes, good. My supporters, I love it. Don't know where my child is, probably on video games, but nevertheless, um, authentic leadership, wrong way. Authentic leadership. I thought I made it up. Sorry, thought I made it up. I thought that I was just trying to find a way to say you need to lead and be true to you, to your own values, to your, who you are when you're out to dinner with a friend should be the same person that you are when you're leading an organization, right? Because when we try to put on a different face or some people see through it. So I wanted authentic leadership. Well, I was Googling for an image and came across book after book after book. And who knew there was something really called authentic leadership? But I've been reading a book called Authentic Leadership by Dan Owolabi. And he was also a pastor. So his way of writing is somewhat sermonesque, if that's a word. And it really spoke to me and it was incredible. And I want to share some of the lessons. And then also a bit of a surprise. I've been speaking with the author, Dan Owolabi. We have a Zoom call set up next week, and he will be one of the speakers at our January Women's Council State Convention. So
Wow.
I'm really excited about that.
Hey,
But
people, hot off the presses on Leadership
yes,
Live.
no one,
You
not
heard
even the
it
state
here.
line knows this yet because I just did that this morning. But
They
you know,
know it now.
authentic leadership is really the realization that you have nothing to, you know how to lead with nothing to hide. And I'm reading for 1 second, nothing to prove and nothing to lose. Now let me say it in my own words. Guys, you can be in charge but you don't always have to have the answers or know what to do. I may be in charge, but I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. It is about being honest, being true, helping people see your strengths and weaknesses. Because guess what, guys? You can try to hide your flaws, people see it, right? Be true. Everyone knows technology, not my forte, right? I have a team of people I rely on. Ask me to write a paragraph, I will stress out of my mind. It will take me 11 days and someone in my family will fix it. But put me up in front of 1,000 people to speak, I will talk for hours. You know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, but letting people really know who you are. And just as important, getting to know the people that you're serving with, getting to know them as people, understanding the wonderful things in their life and the challenges in their life, right? Building that relationship, I'm telling you guys, it will inspire people. It will give people a connection. They want to serve, they want to lead, they're motivated, and it won't feel like work because you all have a common goal. You've created that goal together, and together you will get there. And to Catherine's point before, as president or any leader in any organization, you can't do it all yourself. If you try, I'm here to tell you, you will burn out and you will fail and you will burn bridges. So you need a team of people, right? Like we have on the state line and our DVPs and so forth. You need people who understand the vision, raise their hand and say, I would love to do that part. You know, we are bringing in a charity that we're going to support this year. Terry Mahoney was very passionate. She's one of our incoming local network presidents. And Terry was so passionate about it that it caught my attention. And NISSI, again, don't ask me what the acronym stands for, but this is an organization that is focused on, Charmaine, are you on here with me? I see you.
She's on.
Yeah,
I
she
know,
has a
I was
couple
trying to
questions
see if
too.
anyone knew what the, acronym stood for, right? But, we're human trafficking, right? So they are focused on, human trafficking awareness. Well, we're gonna put our arms around that, and we're gonna have a voice, and we're gonna support them. But that came out of a passion that I saw in somebody and said, "Aha, I'd love to bring that into the state." The line agreed, and Terry is off and running and excited. My point in sharing that is, guys, if you're authentic, if you really watch people and you take the time to get to know people and what inspires them, what frustrates them, you will find a spark. And if you get them to lead for that area of passion, get out of their way. Now, you still have a job to do as a leader. You need to inspect what you expect. You need to give feedback and you need to help keep people grow, right? Done in an appropriate time and way. But get to know your people, right? Show up, do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to be there at 10, by God, be there at 10. If someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't make it up. The right answer is, I will get you an answer. And then, by golly, get them an answer. So that's authentic leadership. And it isn't rocket science, but we don't all do it. Guys, leaders aren't born, leaders are made from hard work and lessons learned, right? Maybe some of us have natural ability for certain things, but struggle in others. So I'm a terrible writer. I confessed it. Guess what? We have a communications committee this year because if you want me to do the newsletter, nobody will be reading it because I'm awful at it. But found somebody who's passionate about it, and that's authentic leadership. And that is our focus for this year. So, one last thing, and I'll turn it back over to you, Catherine. You know, as we were going through the president elect boot camp and quickly realized who had certain skills and who needed training, people raised their hand and said, I will help others. I have gone through this before. Catherine, you being one of them with your financial background. Doing a budget is no big deal. But to others, they have no idea where to start. It makes them sweat. It's scary. So let's help each other grow. And that's how we all move forward in 2021.
Well, I love the theme and I love the passion behind it. And it's like anything else in life. Like, you know, you look to our businesses and we all go to all these latest seminars and how to do what, when, who, you know, how, and scripts and all this. Well, you can't be someone else and be a successful realtor. You have to be yourself. You have to take that script and personalize it to yourself. And the same, and people, they can smell phony a long ways away.
That's exactly
And
right.
I think that sense is almost even sharper in the volunteer world. Because,
Yes.
if you have a possible customer's attention for a nanosecond on the internet, you don't have that, but much more for a volunteer, because that's their precious extra time. And they're not
Right.
going to waste it if you're not being, as you say, authentic. I think it's also encouraging for people coming up the leadership path that may be thinking in the back of their heads, like maybe not, I don't know. But a lot of times those thoughts are stopped with, but I can't be like her.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't be. You should
Right.
be yourself. So
Absolutely.
I think that attitude and that approach, like you said, from the boot camps or people saying, I'll help you with that, I'll help. Those are little bitty baby steps of leadership where you're planting the seed
Right.
and allowing it to grow in baby steps. You
Absolutely.
know?
And can I add something? We forget we're being watched at all times, and you do not know who's watching and listening, and who you touch and who you inspire and whose piece of a puzzle, if you've ever heard that, to their life that you're holding that makes such an impact. And I'll share at the leadership summit, my 24-year-old stepdaughter, who was figuring out, her path in life, was sitting in the back of the room handling the AV. She heard me speak a million times. She knows me well. But at lunch, at break, she came running up to me and said, all excited, all motivated, all energized. And I thought, what's this about? She said, when you said I can be myself and I don't have to be someone else to lead, it took away a fear that I didn't even know I had. And I'm excited now to seek some opportunities. And that blew me away. Took everything
Wow.
in my power not to show emotion because, when it's the kids, you got to be, oh, yeah, okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah,
But oh my
yeah.
God, I was like, yay. Um,
You're like, all those years I tried, now I just
I
said one
know.
thing, click, you know?
I know it. So, and,
That's
and
great.
the only other
What a
thing I
great moment.
Oh my gosh. And the only other thing I want to add, because I see Charmaine Hickey's question, and it did prompt me to share something. As leaders and being authentic, it is okay to say, I'm offline for a couple hours. I'm with my family tonight. I will get back to you tomorrow. Because what happens if you're not true to yourself, you burn yourself out and you resent any people and organization that you're involved with. So, Charmaine asked, when I'm not running a million miles an hour, what do I do? Am I allowed to say I drink a lot of wine? Is that appropriate? But I also, I don't think I'm alone in that. I am headset on, go for a run, lose myself in working out, and that is important time. And everyone needs to ensure they take time for themselves in their leadership journey.
I agree. And I think I like the way you say to set time in your leadership journey. I've always referred to as sort of setting boundaries.
Yes.
You know, like you say, go out for a run. I put my gym time on my calendar. And so it's just very simple. I have an appointment. I don't feel like I have to explain why, where I'm
Yeah.
going. I have an appointment. I'll be talking. Ask Nick. I talked to him many times on the way to the gym, and I'm like, I'm going to the gym. Pull up, gotta go. Got an appointment.
Right.
Um, so I think you need to calendar those things for yourself. You also need to know yourself. I have a hard time sleeping, falling asleep. I know this. If I stay all revved up, I'll never get to sleep. So everyone that knows me, do not call me after 9 o'clock. I will not pick up the phone.
Right.
Because even if it's a happy conversation, with a girlfriend, an hour of that, I'm revved up again. So, part of that being authentic is being authentic with yourself and setting those boundaries, because you're a leader doesn't mean you have to be a slave to everybody,
Well said.
you
Absolutely.
know?
And I think that's so important. That's so
And I
important.
think, I've given a lot more time to Women's Council this year than I imagined I would have had to, but I still put in my business and my other times. And there are times where that email comes in, or that um, request, and I just put it off to the side until I'm ready to deal with it. And I think that sort of time management, time blocking for yourself is something we should stress a little more to our leadership, so it won't be as frightening.
Absolutely. And I think having the ability to recharge makes you a better leader versus leading burnt out as can be. I agree.
Right, right. So, okay, you spilled the beans a little bit. We heard about authentic leadership. We've heard about lead. We know you're trying to put together a convention for us. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I'd love to. So we're uncertain yet if Florida Realtors convention, which typically we piggyback their convention, will be in person or virtual. They have a much bigger audience, and that's a different decision. But we just proved with our October summit that we can do an in person and Zoom event. We can keep our members safe. We were very strict, were we not, Catherine, with
Gary.
masks and temperature checks and hand sanitizer and social distancing. And people respected it and we kept everyone safe. So we are going to do a convention in January, regardless of whether Florida Realtors decides in person or virtual. My gut says they will be virtual, and I understand and respect the decision because of the number of people that go to that convention. We have the ability to do it, and we have been working no different than we asked our local network presidents to work on their business plan. We, as a state line, have been working on our business plan. We have, again, I'm spilling all the beans. Jim Delizio Consulting, he is a renowned, um, I call him a strategist. I don't know that he would really call himself that, but he worked with Women's Council National, with a lot of associations, with a lot of businesses outside of our industry to develop 5-year strategic business plans. We have hired him and we have already started the process, Charmaine Hickey being the chair of that, in doing a strategic plan for the state, right? For Women's Council State. But we asked him as part of that agreement to come in January and speak to our members about how to do a business plan for your business. Whether your business is Women's Council, real estate, I don't care what your business, home inspection, having a business plan and having a roadmap is how you grow and how you stay on track as a leader. So we have him coming to speak. As I mentioned, Dan Owolabi will be speaking, and I don't know if they'll be in person or Zoom, but I now know that we have the ability to do it either way and reach our entire audience. The education task force has already been meeting and coming up with amazing real life skills training, right? Not just Women's Council, but budgeting, finances, public speaking. I mean, things that we use in our real estate, in any business, and anything that we do, even in our homes, trying to navigate with our teenage children, our spouses, whatever it might be, our pets, but what skill set. So we had so many things that we're working on. And we're not going to give up. We are going to do our convention. And for our leaders that are being installed, our district vice presidents, our local network presidents in the state line, we're going to do an installation because COVID or not, everyone has worked hard to get to where we are, and we want to recognize everyone. So, more information to come very quickly. For this January convention, there will be an option for in person with a limited amount of space for in person, an option for Zoom. And our Zoom attendees, we will make sure that we have the technology to make you feel like you're sitting in the room with us. So, more information to come, but super excited. And the line is supporting and working on finding a venue here in Delray Beach, most likely.
Well, folks, you heard it here, hot off the presses. Convention Women's Council, State of Florida, coming in January, and the LEAP program, boot camp to continue. Those are all hallmark achievements, and the consultant for the 5-year plan. I mean, if this pandemic has done nothing, it has just sped up the disruption in our industry. And Women's Council has to be on the forefront of all of it. And if we're going to continue to serve our industry, we need professional help, just like people need our help to sell their houses. We need professionals to come in on the strategic plan. So all that is to be greatly commended. And I think this year we all said the word was pivot, and we were pivoting, and how did you pivot and all that. And I was thinking ahead to next year. Well, we've pivoted, but like you said, with the convention, it'll be partially Zoom, partially live, partially. We don't know. By March, will it be all over and everything will be live? So I think the theme for next year will be fluid. We just have to,
Yes.
we've got this pivot thing down. We've got the multi-tiered
Right.
technology. Now we just have to be open. I was so proud coming in as my um, year as president, and you know where pride gets you, okay? That I had a 12-month calendar of events with speakers, venue, everything booked, locked, and load. And I was giving that to my events director, and I was going to kick up and just enjoy 2020. And what happened? So
Right.
now the events calendar has an event in March, and it says TBD, to be determined,
Right.
venue and topic.
Right.
So those are all lessons we learned from this year. So
Absolutely.
lots of exciting things. We really appreciate you coming on and filling us in on what's happening next year. Is very exciting. I love this elite program. Love the idea that boot camps are going to continue. The authentic leadership just has to be the path forward.
Absolutely.
And I commend you for that. And now we know we have two great speakers to look forward to the convention, as well
Absolutely.
as getting dressed up for the installation.
Yes.
So time to get back on our diets and get rid of that quarantine 15, huh?
Right on. Absolutely.
So, Nick, are there any questions?
Well, she covered. Charmaine was asked a couple of them, but Amy already covered those, so we're good.
Sorry. Caught
No
my eye.
worries. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. So, um, summing up, we always ask our guests the same question. So it's just an unabashed ask for a testimonial. So we ask all of our guests in summation and everything we've talked about, why Women's Council and why more now than ever?
Absolutely. Great question and so important. When I first got into Women's Council in 2002, I don't know that I got in for the right reasons. I just got in, right? And I quickly learned, right? Because there's so many choices of what organizations. And I think, well, I remember my father invited me to a meeting. He was a mortgage broker. That's how I got in. I wasn't seeking leadership. I wasn't seeking it. But quickly I realized there was a circle and a network of mentors, leaders, and kind of like I'm dating myself here, but the show Cheers, right, where you walk in and everyone knows your name. Real estate is a tough industry. You are alone a lot. You have rejection, and you're dealing with it alone. So to be able to walk into a room or join a Zoom call or join a technological connection where you can see and get feedback and get boosted up by others is so essential. And I don't know, I knew that before I walked in the door to Women's Council. But part two of it is leadership training is used in every aspect, as I've said at nauseum today, of our lives. And we are hashtag leaders made here. That is our line, right? Leaders made here. And I can tell you with great confidence, I know of no other organization that provides leadership training like we do. I know of no other organization that works so hard to bring relevant information to our members, to coach, to support. And now more than ever, especially when we're not able to be face to face, having a foundation and an organization that provides that support and whatever your goal and dream is, that there are avenues for you to take to continue to grow as a person and or as a leader and professional. Women's Council has it all, and I too have a lot of choices where I devote my time. I choose Women's Council because I see the value over and over. And cherry on top, we get referrals, right? I don't want people to join
Right.
for the referrals, but I want you to join and realize, aha, I can get referrals when I'm networking. So, it is the all around solution for what I was needing. in my life to continue to grow personally and professionally.
Well, I think you hit all the high points: the support, the mentoring, the networking, the leadership skills. It's very hard to describe to people who are not in it or not seeing the organization. And then, as you say, the cherry on the top, referrals. And when you talk about the four pillars of Women's Council: leadership, networking, education, referrals, I always say referrals last
Yes.
because it is the cherry on the top. It's not a guarantee, but guess what? It could happen. And the more you get involved, the more it does happen. So, what other professional group can say that?
No,
No.
you're exactly right. And I want to add, I want to compliment you, Catherine and Nick. This call, this format, these lessons that you're working to get working hard to get out to the community is incredible. And this is exactly the professional, high caliber educations, training, sharing, networking, mentoring that we want for every network across the state of Florida. And we're going to use this as a showcase. This is absolutely fabulous. And I thank you for including me and I compliment you on just what a phenomenal platform.
Well, thank you. That's really kind of you to say, and it's been just as much of a blessing to us because we get to spend time with phenomenal leaders such as yourself. And sharing, Nick and I have always come from a culture of sharing, you know. Nick, of course, is in real estate with me, but his primary focus is marketing. I can't tell you how many people he has shared his skills with. I've always been happy to mentor. We love to share, and we love to give back. And like I said before, one of the benefits of being successful is giving back and mentoring. And I would like nothing better than for every network in Florida to have this show and their own version of it. And I hope it happens, and I hope this inspires people to think about it and think they can do it. You know, I Nick was never camera shy. I don't know who raised him, but he has ridiculous self-esteem. You know, I was a little more camera shy because I wanted to look like my 10-year-old picture on my real estate card. I just had to get over it, and you get over yourselves, and it would be the greatest compliment if this could be replicated throughout the state or the country. So thank you again, Amy. We really look forward to next year. It's going to be a phenomenal year, and the kickoff will be the convention, and that'll be just great. I want to thank Nick again with Amplified Marketing for being our co host and getting us through this technologically. Reminder that the replay will be up shortly. For all of our members and supporters, we ask you again to like and share not just this replay, but anything you see from us. This helps with our organic reach, and we've been reaching thousands thanks to you and your support. Um, we promised you in the beginning of the year a value proposition. We hope that you still feel you're getting great uninterrupted value from us. Always open to your suggestions. If you like to reach out, feel free to contact me directly with ideas or comments, and check your inboxes. A survey went out Monday to all of our members and our strategic partners. It'll go out again today or Friday. I'm not sure which. We want your input for next year. We want to hear from you. So please be looking for that survey. Our next Zoom event will be October 26th in celebration of National Cybersecurity Month. We'll have Craig Grant discuss cybersecurity with us, and really looking forward to that. So, also, um, don't forget to visit our website. We have our Mentor on Demand program for you. These are members specifically signed up. If you need some extra help, someone to talk to, they're there for you. Um, Tons of leadership and webinars and programs on WCR.org. So don't forget to go there. And again, like and share our posts. Thank you for being with us, and have a great couple weeks. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Bye bye. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye bye.